I'm sure you have heard songs and ghazals by Jagjit Singh. Now you can also watch him on film. Hello and welcome to Talkietive Reviews, the 5 good things, where every week we tell you about a new film. But today we have a surprise in store. We are not talking about a film, we're talking about a documentary instead. And the name is
Kaagaz Ki Kashti.
Kaagaz Ki Kashti. As the name of the documentary by Brahmanand Siingh suggests, this is based on Jagjit Singh, and this was one of his very famous ghazals that spoke of the innocence of childhood. Now, I would say that the choice of the subject is really clever and a very smart one. You'd wonder why. Before this, Brahmanand Singh had directed a documentary on R.D. Burman and now one on Jagjit Singh. The interesting thing about both these gentlemen is that they are extremely popular for their music, and the popularity of their music spans across generations. I think all of us, whether it's my generation, yours, or our parents, everybody has a favorite Jagjit Singh song and a memory attached to it. What is yours?
As I remember, as I was young, my dad used to come from work, and he used to put up music, and it would be Jagjit Singh, because the melody of his songs used to take his stress away, and even as I was young, I used to like that music.
Yeah, his songs and his music were always very, very soothing, I would say. Vasundhara, what about you?
So when I was a kid, there was this one song which used to air every day on television called Kahin Se Ye Chehra by Jagjit Singh. And till now, date, it's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, you know, one of the earliest songs that I heard was Baat Niklegi To Dur Talak Jayegi. Now that was a very sad kind of a song, but I loved it, even though I was a child at that time. Now, the interesting thing is that there is a subject that all of us are somewhat interested in. We are familiar with the music, but to go beyond that, you have to bring in interesting information, because documentaries are factual. They're not fictional accounts like movies often are. Yes. So in this case, you have to get like a bunch of interesting incidents from the subject's life and weave a story. And I think the writing team has done a remarkable job of the research and the writing. I mean, there were so many things about Jagjit Singh that one didn't know. Even though we've like admired his music so for such a long time, I didn't know he did jingles. And the fact that he, you know, he liked hanging out at filmy parties, but never got any work over there. Or the fact that he was a great mimic and he would dance like that, you know, yesteryear actress Cuckoo.
Yes.
Who would have imagined that? What about you guys? Did you know any of this?
Yeah, so whenever, you know, I think of a ghazal singer, there is this very serious image which comes into my mind, and that was the same thing with Jagjit Singh as well. But when I saw the documentary, I got to know that how jovial a person he was.
Absolutely. Like, who would have imagined that he could be like this funny guy and who would like, he knew how to work his audience and crack a joke at himself also.
The documentary also shows us different parts of his life when he was 70 years old, and yet he was so enthusiastic about the music he created that he used to travel so much to perform.
Yeah, I mean, he had this like real sort of you know, hunger to do his job well, and he really enjoyed his work. Now that's the sense that we got about him after watching the documentary. Now obviously, when you have to tell an interesting tale about a person's life, you've got to have the right people telling those stories. So the casting in this film, actually in this documentary, was very interesting, because thankfully they didn't just get a bunch of famous people who would know Jagjit Singh socially. Instead, they've opted for a lot of people who worked with him over the years. And I really like that about, like, especially Ustad Zakir Hussain and Ronu Mazumdar, who is an internationally acclaimed flautist. There was Mahesh Bhatt, who he's worked with. There was Gulzar Saab. They've all sort of known him over a period of time, and they've all worked very closely with him and had very, very interesting stories to share about his life. And I thought that really made the documentary work very well for me.
Yeah, even I particularly remember there was this person Clement, who was a age-old associate of Jagjit Singh, and the personality of Jagjit Singh was so good that he bought a new apartment for that person.
Yeah, I mean, these anecdotes and stories about what a large-hearted man he was and how he helped all those who he had worked with and who were friends, I mean, that was a side to him that I was not aware of.
I'm also glad that they, got Chitra into the picture, because she was able to give us a portrait of Jagjit Singh which was very intimate.
Absolutely. She was so important in his life, not just because she was his wife, but because they would sing together, they would perform together, and she kind of brought the glamour into his life, into his work, and they were this fabulous performing team. So hers was a very, very sort of important piece to the puzzle of his life, and it was fabulous that they got her to speak and to bare her heart and share a lot of intimate personal moments about him. And when you have so many interesting people in the cast, it's a hard thing to pick your favorites, because there's so many stories, some sad ones, some happy ones. To pick the right ones from that, which work for the overall story, is really like a very difficult job to do. And the editor over here, Jabeen Merchant, she has done such a fabulous job. Now, editing is a somewhat unglamorous part of movie making, but I think she deserves a shout out for the wonderful job that she's done on this particular documentary. And now, last but not the least, the direction of the film. Director Brahmanand Siingh has done us a huge favor by telling us this beautiful story in such a moving and simple way.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, what happens is that directors feel that they need to go in for a complex narrative, so that they can show that they can deal with complex material in a particular way, or to showcase their own individualistic style. But this being a documentary, the director has done a fantastic job by keeping it simple and making the story really moving, giving us a documentary that we're going to remember for some time to come. So those were the 5 good things from us this week. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to us, and of course, follow us on social media. Thank you.